Devotions from Genesis. This is a new book that you will want to get at Deb's bookstore, and Deb encouraged us to visit with Nicole Vaughn and tell the author, and this is your first book and your first time on television, right?
Well, actually, my second time on television.
Okay, well, good. Okay, but so there's no reason to be nervous. You know what you're doing.
Still reason to be nervous.
Well, Nicole, this is a local show, so you need to tell people where you're from and who's your grandma and all of that. Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, I was born in Hartselle, graduated from Hartselle High School, and I met my husband about 12 years ago. We celebrated our 11th anniversary this past Friday.
Congratulations.
And we moved to Eva about 3 years ago, and we live there with our two youngest children.
And she brought her family in.
Yes,
she has a
she
nice
did.
bank up here, and they are gorgeous young ladies. They sure are. So tell us about your book. What was your inspiration? What was it? A short step to getting it published? Tell us how it all worked out for you.
I am a journaler, so during my quiet time that I have with God in the mornings, I have a notebook, and just a spiral notebook, and I write everything down in it. And I also take and teach precept Bible studies, and I had been through the precept study of Genesis and Exodus, and I may have already even been in Leviticus at this time, but I had went back and decided that I was going to start a journal notebook that was just devoted to what I learned about God. And I started over in Genesis, and I was about halfway through that notebook when God told me to turn that into a devotional. And so, of course, I argued with him for about 2 years. And you know,
you must be an effective arguer.
Yes, you know, just let him know that I could not do that. But as you can see, he was able to do that through me. So there it is. And so it was once I got it out of the notebook and into the computer and sent it off, it started.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was not, I actually had about 7 offers from publishers when I sent in my my manuscript. So once I actually just did it, it actually went pretty quick.
Okay. And it's centered around the book of Genesis, and you said it's what you've learned about God.
Yes, it is. It goes from chapter 1 through chapter 50, and that was one of the things that I always struggled with on devotions was that they skipped all over the Bible, and they told you that you had to do this one on day 1, on this one on day 2, or this one January 1st, and my personality doesn't fit well with that. And so if I missed a few days, I would feel like I needed to catch up. And so the vision that God gave me for this book was there's not a specific day or a specific time that you have to do any devotion. They just go flow one after the other, and they go in order of Genesis.
Chapter 1 to chapter 50.
Chapter 1 to chapter 50. And
so if it takes me 3 years to get through it, it doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make any difference, and you won't ever feel guilty that you have to catch up.
Are the devotions sort of your personal journey?
Yes, a lot of them are. And that's also one of the things that God wanted me to do through this was to show people how Genesis, the story of Christ begins in Genesis, and it's there's a scarlet thread that flows all the way to Revelation. And I think sometimes we forget how much of Christ is in the Old Testament. And so that's another thing that I do through these devotions is I point out the pictures of Christ that you see all the way through Genesis, and also show how this book, Genesis, that was written thousands of years ago, is still relevant in our daily lives today. And hopefully it will get people to go all the way back and start looking at the beginning. And this is actually the beginning of a series, and I'm working on Exodus right now. And I hope to at least go through the first 5 books of the Bible, the books of the law. And Jesus even talked about how that when he explained himself after his resurrection, he taught the disciples from the scriptures. And he wasn't talking about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and
No,
John.
he
'cause
didn't
it
have
hadn't been
Matthew.
written. No.
Yeah, good point.
He was
Good point.
explaining himself from Genesis to Malachi. And so that's what I hope for people to go back and get to know Christ through the Old Testament scriptures like our early apostles did.
Okay. We're getting the signal that time is running out. Who needs to read this? Who were you thinking of that would benefit in their spiritual life from a book like this?
Oh, anyone.
Yeah,
Anyone.
okay.
I have...
Newer Christians, more mature Christians?
You know, I really think that there's been new Christians that have read this book and mature Christians that have read this book, and I've gotten a new insight and a new look into things. So this book is really good for anyone. It's I think it's just been written to where it can touch the lives of anyone, male, female. Of course, this comes from a female perspective, so it's probably the target is going to be women. But my father loves it.
Okay. And he wouldn't be biased at all.
Not at all.
Well, now, tell us, you said you're from Hartselle and Eva in Morgan County, but tell us who's your mom and daddy and who's your grandma and granddaddy, because people will call and ask us later if we don't ask you.
Well, my parents are Wayne and Loretta Halbrooks from Hartselle also, and my grandparents are they've already gone to be with the Lord. Harris and Lola Halbrooks is my dad's parents, and then my mother's mother is Doris Graves, and she's residing in Prosville at the moment, and my grandfather is living in South Dakota. He is Mr. Wendell Lemons.
Okay. Yeah, because really, people will say, is she so-and-so's baby? And we don't know if we don't ask you while you're here. Well, we're running out of time, so remind folks, I know Deb's Bookstore has the book. And
you can get it at Deb's Bookstore. You can get it at the bookseller in Hartselle. You can get it personally through me. And the official release date is July the 6th. And after July 6th, you can get it online, Amazon, Books A Million, Lifeway. It'll be open in all major chains then. And
when you said you can get it through you, do you have a website that people can order?
I do have a website. It's Nicole LHVaughn.tapepublishing.net. I made a cheat sheet.
Okay.
I can't see my cheat sheet.
We're getting the signal that we need to say goodbye. But we're so glad you came in to see us this morning, and I look forward to getting the book from Deb.
Thank you.
That's our program for today. Thank you for watching Today on 2.
Enjoy your day.